Hello everyone, I'm Kyle and welcome to the channel. Today we will be covering some easy yet useful tips for Moira. I do strongly believe that applying these tips and tricks in all of your games will get you up by maybe 300 to 500 SR, right? Even though these stacks can carry games, this will not mean you immediately climb to GM. You need to master positioning and game sense and all of that good stuff to really achieve this. That said, I can't think of any GM Moira player who doesn't know and use these tips to their advantage. So without further ado, let's jump right into the first tip. The first Moira tip is to know and abuse all the Moira combos and animation cancels. I will be making and linking the video in which I cover all of these down below and at the end of the video. But for now, here's a quick sum up of all of the combos and animation cancels.
Allow me to repair the damage. Tell me how this feels. This will heal you. This. Surrender to my will. Double from you. Surrender to my will.
The second tip has to do with the new and in my opinion improved balls. This one is much less a tip and more a small guide on how to use the so-called nerfed balls. Okay, so Moira's balls are way faster now. They only last for 7 seconds and the range is decreased, right? On paper that's just a straight nerf. But in my opinion it's not really. The decreased range means pretty much nothing. Same for the 7-second duration, because even with the previous version of the ball, if you didn't deplete it after 7 seconds it wasn't gonna do it anymore. For the speed increase, the initial thought was that the ball would be harder to be effective, and yes it is, but if you now use it the way I will describe, you will get way more use out of it than before the nerf. Before the nerf, you could just throw your balls any way you'd like. Now you can only use them in certain situations. The philosophy of the ball has changed. As before, I would say that you should use as much damage orbs as possible once they come off cooldown. Now, the balls should be used as a healing station like Soldier's healing station. The biggest tip is to go into an enclosed area and throw the ball straight up. That way you're making a little healing spot worth of 300 health. You can also shoot them horizontally for the same effect with more space of healing. Today the damage orb is really tricky to use, but you can still use it straight into a clump of enemies together. Using it in a slightly downwards angle to cover more ground, because that's how it works. So there'll be a drawing here, right? You can also do this like if they're in a graviton surge, works the same way. And if they're more spread out, you need to make sure that the balls bounce off walls, so you can hit multiple enemies, cover more ground with your balls. If you want to do optimal damage, you need to throw the damage or healing orb in an enclosed area so it can get fully depleted before launching into space or spawn for that matter. The third tip is useful for when you're low on healing meter. I generally recommend not to run out of healing meter by tapping the healing button instead of holding it all the time, but even so we all deplete the meter once in a while, right? So here we go. The meter regenerates off of itself after some time. This process can be sped up by doing damage to the enemy. This is however not the tip. To speed up the heal regeneration, you could use, instead of just holding the secondary fire, you can tap it as quickly as possible. If you want to do it even faster, you can bound the secondary fire option for right click and bound it to scroll wheel down. Then you just have to keep scrolling down for healing charge, and it goes faster. Why it does that, I don't know. Blizzard hasn't patched it yet, so just take advantage of it. The fourth tip is about pre-healing, something that's wildly underrated by Moira players it seems. When you tap your healing button, when you tap your healing button, the healing effect will give you 65 HP over 4 seconds, meaning if you tap someone who is fully healed, when that person gets damaged, the healing will kick in for the remaining seconds. This is very useful to give to your entire team before they're peeking or going into the fight. You can also pre-heal your Genji when he wants to blade, or your ball when he wants to roll out of your range, or anything really. Or even a Pharah before she decides to go up in the air, something like that. The last tip I will give you in this video is to trick the enemy with your fade. The fade makes you invisible, so the enemy team cannot track you where you are going, but they can guess, and thanks to the human brain it's actually pretty easy to guess the direction. For example, if you look towards a point before you go into fade, the enemy team is going to assume you'll go to point, right? What you can do is you can look in a direction, start the fade, and then immediately go a different direction. So these were the 5 tips to improve at Moira. I hope you found it useful. If so, definitely like, subscribe, hit the bell, because I have a pretty inconsistent uploading schedule. Also comment if you know more tips and tricks you thought I should have mentioned in the video. Also, if you're dedicated to getting better at the game of Overwatch, you should definitely watch more videos of the channel. We have file reviews and guides and everything educational on the way. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.